The only other question that I've heard and I've seen, which is also on the list of questions that you guys submitted, thank you for submitting questions, was people with wooden floors,
Yes.
right? So they're concerned about the mat, or even dyed like concrete, stuff like that. They're concerned about the mat, like discoloring the floor underneath it. Wherever the mat's at for a long period of time, they're worried about that causing discoloration. So is that a legitimate concern?
It is.
Okay.
We get that concern all the time. To tackle hardwood floors, it's pretty simple. Hardwood is sealed with polyurethane. So talk about something that's permanent, hardwood floors. Well, over time they wear down, it's a different type. They're sealed with polyurethane. So we're a polyurethane product, it will not damage hardwood floors. So it's the same thing. Any floor that contains something we call linseed oil or something like that, so linoleums, that type of stuff, that could potentially have discoloration. That's not anything that a wellness mat does necessarily directly, but that's something that any floor covering could do to those products. So a rug or another type of mat could potentially, or even like a cabinet, could, you see that yellowing almost on some floors, that comes from that linseed oil and the fact that it's covered and then like sunlight and stuff like that can also wear down floors. But that's not anything that a wellness mat necessarily directly will have a reaction with the floor. That's just something that happens over time with those manufacturers.
So what you're saying is basically it's not the wellness mat that would cause that to happen. So the questions to ask are, how are your, like if you have do you have hardwood or do you have tile or concrete?
Yeah.
If they have wood, how is it sealed? Is it sealed with polyurethane like traditionally, or is it just treated with oils? And you know, and then also if they have cheaper materials like laminates, right? That is something to be cautious of, and it's also to let your customers, it's wise to let your customers know, like, hey, yeah, you could actually get some fading or some discoloration. It's not the mat, it's actually the floor and the way that it's finished.
Exactly.
So you may want to be cautious. I do know I've had a customer one time where like hardwood floors, polyurethane, all that stuff, but they just had sun. They put their windows in the wrong places, and so the sun just blazes through the windows all day long. And they showed me where like they had other rugs and stuff down, and the sun just beat the rest of the floors out, where it actually wasn't the spot under the mat that was faded, it was the whole rest of the floor that was faded.
Exactly.
And they pull up their mat and it actually looks normal. So so it's just good to ask questions around those topics.
Yes.
And then make the recommendation or the suggestion for your client that you feel is best based on their best interests, right?
Yeah.
So I have actually not sold people mats because it's a big concern for them, and they can't answer those questions confidently. And so I'm going to tell them that, hey, it's okay if you don't get it. You might want to check into it and then follow up, maybe decide what to get one.
Perfect.